Welcome to the Shiksha Junction. Today we're going to see the career after the civil engineering. As you know, after our BE BTech, we need to see the different types of career options. How we can moving ahead. So we'll go to the next slide. So as you can see, here we have categorized the scope after the civil engineering in terms of the 5 domains. You can see first whether you wanted to go for government jobs, whether you have the career in a private job, then for the consulting business, then the private business, and for the further studies. So we'll release a couple of videos for the each domain or each vertical in upcoming days. So today we'll focus for the career or the scope in the government job sector. Yeah. So as we know, the civil engineering mostly focus for the all these students are mostly focusing for the civil engineering scope for the government sectors only. And yes, because in government sectors there is ample amount of opportunities that if you go will go for the government jobs in terms of the central government, then state government, then PSU jobs also there. As you can see, civil engineering students can able to opt for the Indian Oil Corporation, BPCL, HPCL, NPTC. Okay, not only the PSUs also will go to inside the uh, petrochemicals, hydro power plants also. Okay, also we can go to the power sectors like the PGCIL. Also we can go to the Central Electronics Limited also. We'll go to the ISRO also. The civil engineering students also have the opportunities to go inside our ISRO, like Indian Space Research Organization. We'll also have the opportunity to go into the cell, that is Steel Authority of India. Also we have the scope in terms of railway departments also, that we can go in terms of the IRCON, that Indian Railway Construction Company. We'll go to the Authority of India, that is the AAI. And if you wanted to go, also we have the career opportunities in terms of the power sectors also. So civil engineering students has the ample amount of opportunities in terms of the central governments as also the PSU jobs. Adding to that, I wanted to discuss how the selection procedure is for the PSU jobs. As you can know, everyone is aware about our civil engineer students has the understanding that if how they wanted to go ahead in terms of the career perspective. So as you can see, selection procedure for PSUs. So for any government job, there are different types of the selection procedures that has been defined. Okay, so if you wanted to go for the PSUs, so as you know, there is separate examination conducted through the gate, and we require the gate score. On the basis of the gate score, as you can see, suppose I will give the example of the IOCL. Okay, for the IOCL, we have the here we can get the domain ID, that is the website www.iocl.com. And for this, if you wanted to apply for the IOCL, there is the eligibility called the BE BTech. It should be from the civil engineering background and with a minimum 60 percentile of the aggregates. Okay, this is the eligibility. If you go for the exam pattern, so exam pattern first is you need to appear for the gate score, and that gate score should be a valid one, and the shortlisting based on the gate score. Suppose every year after the gate examination, after getting the result of the gate, there will be for each domain, for each PSU sectors like IOCL, BPCL, NTPC, NHEI, NBCC, everyone, these all the companies, they release their advertisement. Okay, we need to fill that advertisement, and they will we need to fill the form. After the filling the form, they will categorize the what can I say, the merit list based on our gate score. After the gate score, suppose if you have the gate score, and if you apply there, and if you got shortlisted, then you will get then next procedure should be a group discussion or task basis. So there is a criteria. Suppose number of students enrolled uh, for or enrolled for the gate score, and they are got selected for the gate round. So next round should be a group discussion, or there might be a computerized examination also there. Okay, to to get to it, and afterwards there is having the personal interview. So the same procedure will be there, but if you're going for the oil-based companies, then we require the minimum aggregate of 60%. If you wanted to go for the NTPC, it has the minimum 65 percentile of the aggregate. Then if you wanted to go for the OPGC, PSCPL, NPCC, then all these having the 60 percentile. So as you can see, the entire PSU is depending on the GATE score. So while yes, I definitely agree that while doing the BTech, we need to focus for the GATE examination as well, as it is the pioneer for our PSU job sector, as we looking for the central government sector, as it's a it is a most tier one job. Yeah, so that's why they have the stimulated examination process, stimulated exam patterns, and stimulated the hiring process. Yeah, so for civil engineering students, it's the first priority that we need to focus for the central government jobs, and these are the top listing companies. Those have providing the good packages, good way of culture, and the good way of future also to going through it. If you opted for any of the company like IOCL, BPCL, your career is sorted, and that is the most intent of a civil engineering students to get opted in terms of the government jobs. So today we are focusing for the how we can getting the exposure for the government jobs, and how we can develop, or how we can secure our future after doing the civil engineering course. Yeah, moving forward, as we discussed in our previous slides also, that we have the opportunity to go for ISRO, that Indian Space Research Organization. Also, the eligibility is the same. If you go for the ISRO, SAIL or RRB, the SAIL also Steel Authority of India, Steel Authority India Limited. In that also, the eligibility is same, that BTech required with a minimum aggregate of the 60% of marks. But here is a slight difference in the exam patterns. As you can see, here having the written test. So every year, as GATE examination is in February. So before that or afterwards, the ISRO, RRB or SAIL release their hiring process. So sometimes it will go for with the written test, with the CET, with the computerized test. Sometimes they will go for the directly the based on the scores also. They will go for the personal interviews also. But based on the domain and based on the requirements, the hiring process will be getting smoother for the ISRO or SAIL or RRB. If you go for the ONGC, again it's the power sector. So say it's having the eligibility called BE, BTech, civil engineering students. And you can see the exam pattern, they have mentioned that GATE score should be 60 percentile for marks. So whatever the percentile we are getting, the first score is of the GATE score. Second, interview, whatever the interview is going happening over there, they take the 15 percentile of mark also, and the qualifications also. So based on these three criteria, afterwards they will release their what can say the merit list, and based on the merit list, you need to opt it for the get a chance to work with the ONGC. So as in previous slide also, as I can show you that IOCL, BPCL, HPCL. So each domain, like the Indian Oil, the Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum, has their own criteria, has their own set of process, and has their own set of exam patterns. So we don't have to say that okay, if I have opted for ONGC, it won't be same for the IOCL, or it won't be same for the ISRO. So based on the each domain or each company wise, the PSU sectors have the authority to conduct the examination, to set up the eligibility, to set up the exam patterns. So it won't be same, yeah. But ultimately, we need to keep an eye on this company listing companies of the PSUs. So moving ahead, based on the GATE score, we will getting for it. But I can, as per my experience, I will say you, if we have the GATE score valid and it should be with the beyond 60 percentile of a GATE score, definitely you will getting eligible for the any of the company of the PSU sectors. Okay, and based on the your next exam pattern, if you cracked it, so your way is more easier to get into the PSU sector jobs. Yeah. And if you see the AAI, that is Airport Authority of India, again it's again the comes into the airport. Now you can see why the civil engineering students will go for the AAI, that Airport Authority of India. So I'll say you civil engineering students, as you can see, the in aviation technology, whatever the structures are there, suppose in terms of the shades, okay, when the plane or the aeroplane will be getting shaded, that the structure need to be designed from civil engineers. The construction should be doing from the civil engineers. So the civil engineering students is also civil engineering domain is an integral part of the Airport Authority of India. Yeah. So the eligibility is same, that they required the graduation in terms of BE BTech, and exam pattern is for the again, as we discussed, here is the we don't require the gate score. Okay, because every year Airport Authority of India release their what can say the recruitment and the job description as well. So here it's they conduct the written test. It should be a computerized test, and they have their own syllabus. They have the written test also considered with the logical and reasoning aptitude, then with the current affairs, everything it has been there, and they release their exam patterns and syllabus also. So based on that, they will go for the written test. After the qualification of a written test also, they will release the what can I say the merit list, who have the also they have the negative markings also. I need to mention that they have the 1/4 of negative marking. Then again, after that, first round of the written test for AAI, they need to select for the personal interviews. Okay. So suppose a number of students opted for the AII in a more, then again they split up the written test, then with the group discussion as well. So again, it depends on the number of students who have been opted for the hiring process. Again, it's changed, and they have the rights to change the examination, change the exam patterns, change the eligibility, everything. Okay. In terms with the personal interview, afterwards we'll go for the voice test to be conducted at the each time of our interview. Why they go for the voice test? So for Airport Authority of India, as you can see, there is the different types of the job roles. So whether it in terms of the designing, whether in terms of the aviation, so they require a voice to interact with the government bodies. Okay, so based on your job role, they need to categorize it, and it's their hiring process. So they need to go they it's a mandatory one to appear for the voice test also. If come across, if you go to the IRCON, again, as I mentioned earlier also, in the Railway Authority of India, in railways also we have the ample opportunities. IRCON is the biggest construction company that I can show you, that Indian Railway Construction Company, IRCON. And IRCON has the largest monopoly, and we know that railway sector across the globe, we are at the second position. We have the largest chain of the railways, so there are ample opportunities, and IRCON is the only one PSU company who is holding the monopoly for the rail developments. So in Railcon also there are lots of subdomains like IRFCs, there RVNL are there, Railway Vikas Nigam Limited. Uh, so that will also the main focusing for the development of the railway sectors. And as we know that now, as our Indian government, the Prime Minister Modi ji also suggested that focusing for development of the railways. You can say Vande Bharat they launched, it's the Indian made. So what are the car sheds are getting developed, the development of the stations, they are getting customized one. So again, it's come into the IRCON. So for IRCON also, there is having the BE BTech, that is the main proficient eligibility, and having the 60% of aggregate marks. Yeah, again, as we see, it's having the shortlisting based on the exam pattern, based on the gate score. So again, it's focused on the gate score, and once we opted the gate score, then it will also return test and personal interview. Now student will ask whether the gate score, when we get the gate score, it's same for the opted for the all the what can say the PSUs or not. Yeah, but for each PSU, we need to fill the separate examination form. Okay, it's nothing like that. If you fill the IOCL, then it's okay. You won't be available for the BPCL. No, for the each PSU, for the each company, there is a separate advertisement. You need to fill the separate advertisement, but the gate score should be the same. Suppose for 2023 and 2024, if you opted for the same, so whatever the highest score you got, As you know, one gate score, the valid gate score will be remain consideration for the 3 years. Okay, so last year if you got the 60 percentile, this year if you got the 58, so you can use the 60 percentile also for the reappearing for the IOCL. So like that, all the PSUs. So there is the more focused area or the most focused criteria of the gate score only. So I think these PSUs, how the selection procedure is there, what are the PSUs, uh, how the exam pattern is there. I think you got the good information. So moving ahead, as we discussed for the PSUs, now I wanted to give the focus areas for the state government and local authority jobs as well. Okay, so state government jobs, as you can see, we have the multiple opportunities into the state governments as well, and depending on the states, there are various depending on states also there is different types of the examinations, different types of the eligibility, different types of the exam patterns are there. So focusing for the state government authority, first is the RB, that roads and building developments. As you know, roads and building develop department is the most integral part into our uh, civil engineering and into our government sector, and also it imparts the GDP growth also. So as you know, the Mr. Nitin Gadkari sir also has launched, he has made a set of records building of the more than 1 lakh kilometers in a 5 years. Okay, so that's why our road department got developed in a haphazard way. So when development is happening, that time also you're getting the ample opportunities to go through it. Then NJSKP, that is Narmada Jal Sampatti and Kalpsar. Again, the Sardar Sarovar Narmada Nigam Limited, the GGL Gujarat Gas Limited. So in state government bodies also, in terms of the roads, in terms of buildings, in terms of the water resource, water development, wastewater supply, gas water supply. Okay, so depending on the each subdomain, state-wise, we have the ample opportunities. So I've just listed the 20, but there are state-wise also there are a lot of opportunities, as you can say, as is GGL, the Gujarat Gas Limited, Gujarat Housing Board. If you're focusing for the Gujarat Housing Board, if you're focusing for Maharashtra, MHADA is there, Maharashtra Housing Board Department. Then there is a Konkan Development, Konkan Railways, Konkan Building Developments, okay, Konkan Housing Board, so Gujarat State Petronet Limited. So as you can see, there are lots of opportunities in terms of the state-wise also. And also with state-wise, if you're going ahead, we have the opportunities inside the uh, electric board, I'll say, electrical boards also. That you can see the MSCBs, the Maharashtra State Electrical Board, the GSEB, the Gujarat State Electrical Board. So depending on the state government, there are lots of opportunities, if you say. So today we just given the example for the Gujarat government. So as you can see, for Gujarat government, we have the in terms of the Gujarat GGL, Gujarat Gas Limited, GHP, Gujarat Housing Board, GPCB, Gujarat Pollution Control Board. Then GERI, that is Gujarat Engineering Research Institute. So civil engineering students have the opportunity to work inside the R&D centers also, whether in terms of the research institute, whether in terms of the water development, wastewater treatment, whether in terms of chemical engineering, whether in terms of the what can say, the water resource department. Also we have the scope in terms of land development also. Now you will ask me, why sir we require go for the land development? I think you everyone know about in survey, in surveying also, first year of the engineering, if you can say survey. In survey we do the topography, we did the contouring, we did from the theodolite, we measure the areas. So that also come, that also the give the major impact in terms of the uh, land development, and there is having the government body to generate to go for the land development. Also you have the industrial development also. Why we require industrial development? Just like a GIDC, just like a MIDC, that's if you go to Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation. So these domain also have the has the state government requirement of the civil engineering students. Why require the industrial development? Because we know we need to do the zonings also, that in which zone the that what can say the structure or the uh, workshop is going to start, the layout, the roadways mapping, everything we have to do inside of GIDC. If you go to the GMDC, that mineral development also. Now you will ask me, so why we go for civil engineer student required the in terms of mineral development. So the layout is required, the mining is there in terms of the soil. So the basic, the civil engineering students or civil engineering domain, after the graduation we have the ample opportunities if you dig it out, in terms of the private, in terms of the government, in terms of the what can say central government jobs also. But we need to see, because we are not aware about it, which sector is there and how we go for it. That's why we Shiksha Jain or Shiksha Junction, that we are focusing for the each sector, to everyone get the glimpse of it, and everyone get the idea that, oh, in state government also we have a lot of opportunities in terms of the water treatment, minerals, state fertilizers, industrial, land development, water resource, pollution control board also we have. And as you can say, mentioning ahead, we have the opportunities in water and land management institute also. Then if you say the just give the example in terms of the GETCO, that is Gujarat Energy Transmission Corporation. If you go to, if you see in terms of Maharashtra, then there is a MSCB, Maharashtra Electrical Board. HUDCO is there. So there are a lot of state government bodies are there who are focusing for civil engineering students, but only the lacuna is there, or the civil engineering students are not aware about that. They were only focusing for the what can say, the becoming of the focusing for the MPSC and UPSC. That's good that you are focusing for the your MPSC and UPSC, but we need to keep, we need to see, we need to keep eye on the state governments and PSU sectors also. And we need to see how the state government bodies or state government authorities are giving the multiple opportunities in terms of the different domains. Yeah. So moving ahead, how we can go for the selection procedure for state government and state government authority and local authority. So first is that first is the announcement in newspaper, because the this previously the announcement comes in terms of the newspaper. Then it nowadays it we are getting the advertisement in terms of the mail communication also. Or nowadays the social platform is so active, through the LinkedIn, through the social platforms we are getting the announcements that yeah, this local authority is going to release the advertisement. Please go through it, please fill the form and appear for it. So second, first of all, need to see the job announcement in newspaper. Second step, you have to apply for the each discipline. Like suppose if you got the application from the Gujarat Housing Board, so there will be a separate website is there. You have to go over there, and there is the detail overview how to fill the form, what is the eligibility, what is the exam pattern, what is the syllabus. Everywhere it is mentioned. In advertisement only, in announcement only, the state government body or PSU body will select the selection procedure. Will give the totally glimpse of the how the examination going to conduct, what is the daytime, what is the limitation, what is the start date and end date, and how the examination going to conduct. So everything you will getting the detailed overview inside a job announcement. And second, go to the website, apply for it. Then afterwards, application also, it's a manual guided, that how we need to give the valid email ID, like the with a number. Okay, so the photos and all, everything is procedurized, and it's the manual document is there. So we can be to follow and to apply the uh, that particular examination. Then in step 3, we'll get the written test will be conducted as per the schedule. Okay, so it's so we need to allot it with your or can say zone, with your ID, with your area. We're getting the written test date. Need to go over there, need to appear for the written test, as it will be considered with the MCQ type test. Yeah. So again, it depends on the authority to authority, that will be return test or the MCQ test type test. But as per my understanding, all the state government bodies are focusing for the MCQ test also. Then based on the syllabus they mentioned, it go happen. So some state government bodies will go for the step 1, step 2. Like in step 1, they will see the logical and reasoning first test, and second test will be a technical test. Like that, they will categorize it. Yeah, after the return test, they will share you the merit list, and based on the merit list, the cutoff, they will hire the number of students, and they will release the final merit list. So in step 4, as you can see, the class 2 and class 3, that in which the based on your advertisement, okay, based on the class, if you say the class 2 job announcement is there, so they have the document verification, and again the personal interview is there, okay, because class 2 is a higher position, as you can see, and based on that they will have the merits, and they based on that they have the requirements, okay. So again it depends on the step 4, I can see class 2 and class 3, again it depends on the government body, government authority, how they are going to conduct it. And class 3 document verification is there, and direct recruitment on the basis of the merit. So again it depends on type of the job or type of the recruitment, on in which discipline or in which what can say areas that candidate is getting placed. So again it depends on the government authority only how it's going to conduct. I think this has been the clear to everyone. We'll go to the next, that as we discuss regarding that, these are the opportunities in terms of the government bodies, in terms of the PSU sectors, and you go for the state government bodies and local authority also. For local authority, as you can see, we have the municipal corporations. There also the in municipal corporations also civil engineer student required. Then in terms of municipal corporation, then in terms of the nagar palikas, in terms of the local authorities, in terms of Jilla Parishad also, the sub local authorities also requirement is there for the civil engineering students. So either in terms of the surveyors, either in terms of the zonal engineer, whether in terms of the resident engineer. So there are the different categories. Categorization is there. The civil engineering students required, or civil engineering domain expertise are required. Yeah. So till the time we discuss and the scope, is discuss the different types of procedures in terms of the state government authority, and in terms of the recruitment process for the PSUs also. Now this is the career. This is in addition to that, I want to discuss about the nowadays, as you can know, the Shiksha Abhiyan, in terms of the governments of India, they have releases the what can say the employability, in terms of they are approaching, encouraging the startups also. If you wanted to do our business, so there is another the same domain called the government approved material testing laboratory. Okay, like I just mentioned in our previous slides, that we have the mineral development or the land development also. Recruitment is there. So land development or the mineral development is depending on the laboratories in terms of the R&D also. So in government approved material testing laboratory, in which the civil engineering students or civil engineers need to do the carry out the type of the material, whatever the material is going on a site, is it correct or not. So scope of work, what is the scope of work required, that to carry out the civil engineering materials testing as per the IS methods, and to prepare the test results with the recommendation and remarks. Now you will ask me, sir, the scope is there, but how we can move ahead, or how we can do the uh, how we can get the approval for the same. So idea behind the material testing is that, suppose the road construction is happening, okay, on road. So the respective contractor need to come to the laboratory. So you are the government approved laboratory, you have the procedure, you need to apply for the same, and you have the stamp, you have the testing methods. Okay. Now, if you are now just mention that NABL is there, that is National Accreditation Board of for Testing and Collaboration Laboratories. There is a source, there is a website, need to go for it, need to click on it, and we can able to retrieve over there, need to apply for the same to get the license. It is just step one type of license also. So whatever the accreditation is there, so respective contractor need to come to you and need to do the testing. So there are two ways of testing. One, do the laboratory test and do the on-site test. I know, I think everyone will remember that in our concrete technology, the third year of the engineering, we have the concrete technology, the subject in which we have seen the different types of test for the concrete, like the seepage analysis, there, the creep shrinkage analysis are there. So depending on the aggregate mixture that we require, suppose whether it's M20, M25, as we have the grades, different grades of the concrete. So to test it, the testing are there in the laboratory and testing are there on site. So as the government approved a body, a laboratory, we have the stamp and the approval. As you can see, the NABL is there, RB is there, that is Road and Building Department. We are getting the license, and depending on the license, we will directly give the stamping and we'll say, yeah, this the M20 grade of the concrete is good. It is good for the casting. Go for it. Whether it comes the roads, whether it comes of the government bodies. So the government also have encouraging the young generation or the young youth to start their own startup, start their own business in terms of the government approved material testing laboratories. So there are ample. These laboratories have the good future in coming days. And now also, as you know, our road structure, infrastructure, building sectors are getting developed. So they require the certification with they require the licensing with the good stamping. So this also getting recorded, and when they are submitting it, one new government GR is came. When the material testing laboratory person or the lab will give the approval of the approval for the design standard, design makes the material, then only they are getting the bills. So now it's more mandatory to go for it. And it's again in government approved testing laboratory also, we are getting the opportunities to work for the civil engineers also, civil engineer students, because it's also the testing laboratory in which we need to do the testings. As you know, we have the labs in our civil engineering department in terms of concrete technology. We need to check the seepage analysis, sinkage analysis, and we need to check the aggregate size also. I think all the civil engineering students will remember that the to construction of the roads also we require the aggregates. Different types of the aggregates are there. So shapes are there. The aggregate shape is there, thickness is there, the length is also there, elongation is also there. So in this domain also we have the good scope, and for this also we don't require any gate eligibility is so simple. Required the graduation BE Tech, and the exam partner is only the testing, or can say written test only. So they are getting the directly the advertisement, directly go appear for the written test, and directly will get the job. It's having a good pay also in terms of the as a technician, you can say the librarian, laboratory person. Again, it's come to the R&D center only. So there is ample opportunities, and I think as we are looking for the PSU sectors, local and state government bodies, also we need to look for the material testing laboratories also. And if you get the good experience into it, afterwards you will getting a good certified lab, good certified and approved material testing laboratory, like a CA is there, a chartered accountant, the same degree and the same authority you will getting afterwards. Yeah. Yes. So thank you students, thank you for the thank you for your presence, and thank you for the listening for the with the Shiksha Junction. So as I mentioned earlier, the next videos are also on the way. We will release in upcoming days. So today we discussed regarding the scope and the career opportunities for civil engineering students in the government jobs. The next upcoming videos will be on career opportunities on private jobs, career opportunities for the business if you wanted to do, and with the further studies as well. So thank you.